I felt like I was ready for something bigger because I was just walking through these girls. So I want that challenge. I want that hard
I mean, I'm gonna say I expect a tough fight. I feel like both our games, like
fight. I want to have to brawl and bang. And I'm ready for that. And I think after the first three that were kind of
my game all around is really good. Her game all around is good. So I feel like it's going to be a really good matchup. But then again, I feel like I've said that before and it's ended quite short.
They spoke with confidence before they ever stepped into the ring. The kind of confidence that sounds convincing when no one has tested it yet. They talked about speed, power, experience, about how prepared they were and how little they feared the name across from them. Dakota, they said, was just another opponent. Someone they could outwork, outmuscle, outlast. It was easy to talk when the cameras were rolling and the gloves were still clean. Easy to underestimate a fighter who didn't shout on social media, who didn't build hype through trash talk or viral clips. Dakota didn't need noise. He never had. What people didn't understand back then was that Dakota had already been shaped by silence. By hours in the gym when no one was watching. By
So 100% believe in my ability and feel like, it's not going to be, it's not going to last too long.
rounds sparred when there were no likes, no comments, no applause. She wasn't built for theatrics. She was built for pressure. And pressure has a way of exposing everything that confidence tries to hide. When Dakota spoke, she didn't waste words. She didn't claim invincibility. She didn't promise knockouts. She simply stated facts. She was fitter, stronger, faster, more experienced. A fighter is a fighter, she said. And she meant it in the most literal sense. Not a persona. Not a brand. Fighter. The difference between Dakota and those who doubted her became painfully clear the moment the bell rang. The energy changed. The air tightened. Everything that had been said outside the ring evaporated as reality took over. Because once you face someone like Dakota, theory collapses. Strategy becomes survival. This wasn't just another bout. This was a snapshot of a rise that had started years earlier, long before fame entered the conversation. Back in May 2015, when Dakota was still an amateur and her name barely registered outside dedicated fight circles, she stepped into the ring against Becky Caslin. Both were just 17 years old, competing at around 48 kilograms tall, lean, still growing into their frames. Fighters at that age often rely on raw talent or aggression. What Dakota showed that night was something far rarer: control. From the opening bell, she didn't rush. She didn't try to overwhelm. He hunted. Every step was deliberate. Her footwork claimed the center of the ring almost immediately, a subtle but powerful statement. Controlling the center isn't just about positioning, it's about authority. Dakota established it early, using a long, snapping jab to dictate distance and force Caslin to react rather than initiate. The first clean right hand cut straight through the guard, sharp and precise, followed by a high kick that landed with textbook timing. It wasn't reckless power. It was measured violence. The kind that drains confidence strike by strike. Caslin tried to test her with low kicks, probing for openings, but Dakota's balance and timing shut those attempts down. Every exchange told the same story. Dakota saw everything coming just a moment sooner. Commentators noted the skill on display from both fighters, marveling at how composed they were at such a young age. But there was already a contrast forming. Caslin was patient, defensive, looking to counter and take the fight into later rounds. Dakota had other plans. She wasn't here to wait. She was here to set a pace her opponent would be forced to match, or break under. By the end of the first round, the scorecards were already leaning heavily in Dakota's favor. Cleaner shots, better control, clear dominance. But what stood out most was her calm. No wasted movement. No emotional spikes. Just steady, suffocating pressure. Round 2 is where fights like this often reveal their true direction. It's where early promise either fades or hardens into something dangerous. Dakota hardened. She began walking Caslin down, cutting off angles, shrinking the ring with every step. Her combinations flowed seamlessly. Jab, cross, kick, repeat. Head, body, legs. Nothing was off limits. Each strike served a purpose, slowly dismantling Caslin's defense. Even when Caslin fought well on the back foot, scoring with counters and showing heart, Dakota's strength began to show. Body shots thudded into ribs. Push kicks sent her opponent stumbling backward. In the clinch, Dakota went to work with sharp knees that stole breath and energy. Anyone who's taken a knee to the ribs knows the truth. They don't just hurt, they exhaust. They take something from you that doesn't come back between rounds. The redness spreading across Caslin's ribs told a story the cameras couldn't fully capture. Damage was accumulating. Dakota wasn't just winning exchanges, she was investing in the later rounds. Breaking her opponent down piece by piece, exactly as seasoned professionals do. What made it more striking was their age. 17 years old, and both fighters listened intently to their corners, adjusting like veterans. But while Caslin adapted to survive, Dakota adapted to dominate. She walked back to her corner after round 2 with her hands raised, not in celebration but in quiet confidence. She knew what was coming next. By round 3 the fight turned brutal. Dakota increased the tempo, pushing forward with renewed intensity. A heavy strike rocked Caslin, forcing her onto the ropes. From there the distance disappeared. This was Dakota's territory. Knees crashed into the midsection. Punches split the guard. Elbows threatened in close quarters. Caslin tried to fire back, showing courage, but every response was met with something heavier. This was the moment commentators had hinted at earlier. On the outside the fighters were competitive. In the clinch the difference became undeniable. Dakota was stronger, more explosive, more vicious. She doubled up on crosses, forced exchanges, and imposed her will. Then it happened. A clean right hand landed flush. Caslin staggered. Dakota smelled the finish. What followed wasn't chaos. It was inevitability. A relentless barrage poured down. Punches, knees, pressure without pause. The referee stepped closer, eyes locked on Caslin, weighing heart against safety. When the next knee landed and Caslin had nowhere left to go, the decision was made. The fight was waved off. TKO in round 3. A 5-round fight ended early because Dakota didn't need more time. 3 rounds were enough to send a message that echoed far beyond that ring. This wasn't just a win. It was a warning. Dakota had controlled every second from the opening bell to the final strike. Her composure never cracked. Her technique never slipped. Her killer instinct emerged exactly when it was needed. This is what separates good fighters from dangerous ones. Not luck. Not hype. She didn't overwhelm with reckless aggression. She dismantled. Round 1 was control. Round 2 was pressure. Round 3 was destruction. A masterclass in how to break an opponent down physically and mentally. TKO in round 3. A 5-round fight ended early because Dakota didn't need more time. 3 rounds were enough to send a message that echoed far beyond that ring. This wasn't just a win. It was a warning. Dakota had controlled every second from the opening bell to the final strike. Her composure never cracked. Her technique never slipped. Her killer instinct emerged exactly when it was needed. This is what separates good fighters from dangerous ones. Not luck. Not hype. She didn't overwhelm with reckless aggression. She dismantled. Round 1 was control. Round 2 was pressure. Round 3 was destruction. A masterclass in how to break an opponent down physically and mentally. Anyone who underestimated her learned the truth that night. When Dakota steps into the ring, words mean nothing. Records mean little. Confidence fades fast. Only survival matters. And in this fight, survival ran out in round 3. That performance didn't just elevate Dakota's name. It defined it. It showed the blueprint of a fighter who would continue to rise. Someone built not on noise but on results. The kind of fighter who doesn't chase moments but creates them. Becky Caslin fought with heart and skill, but she learned the hard lesson every combat athlete eventually faces. When you step in with someone like Dakota, you're not fighting for highlights. You're fighting to endure. And endurance has limits. This was only the beginning of Dakota's ascent. Long before the spotlight fully found her, she had already proven who she was. A fighter in the purest sense. Calculated. Relentless. Unforgiving. Now it's your turn. Was this the most dominant performance of Dakota's career? Or have you seen her reach even higher levels in her later bouts? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive breakdown, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more high-level fight stories and brutal combat analysis. This is where the hardest-hitting narratives in boxing and combat sports live. Turn on notifications so you never miss what's coming next. Until then, keep your hands up, stay sharp, and we'll see you in the next one.